I'm going to give this a shot. Today I'm going to talk about 3 secrets that you need to know about storm chaser tactics. Storm chasers are the guys that flood your neighborhood as soon as the storms hit, knock on the doors, and you know what I'm talking about. So the first thing that you want to be aware of the storm chasers is you haven't been randomly selected, chosen. They are on you from research. They get what's called hail reports. We all get them. I get them. You can get them. Pete Delkus on Channel 8 will give them to you right after the hail hits. But these are more specific. These hail reports zoom in on a map. And in that map, you can zoom in on zip codes. And on from the zip codes, you can zoom in on neighborhoods, streets, blocks, down to the house. And it shows the diameter of the hail and the street that it hit on. So the next morning or the day, whenever the hailstorm hits, these guys will have a big meeting, get their canvassers, and they'll say, you go to this neighborhood, you go there, you go there, you go there, and they'll spread out like an army. And as soon as they get to the neighborhood, you'll see them driving down the streets real slow, or they'll park, and the first thing they look for is a corner house, a predominant location where they can put up a yard sign and get good visibility. That's what they want. Quick, instant yard sign, good visibility. And a lot of times they'll actually give that person, or you, if you're the one that lives on the corner house, a free upgrade, or they'll say just about anything to get you to let them put their yard sign in your yard. So once they've got that accomplished, then it's a domino effect. Great, we got a yard sign, now let's go down the street. So the rest of the neighborhood, the neighbors, if it's you, they knock on your door, boom, boom, boom. Hey, how you doing? There was a storm last night. We just talked to your neighbor down the street. We've already found damage on their house. You probably have the same damage on your house as well. Do you mind if we hop up and take a look? And boom, it's a domino effect. From there, the other thing you want to watch out for are what's called contingency contracts. Contingency contracts in themselves really aren't a bad thing. The way they're written is that it's a blank contract that they will have you sign, and it'll say something to the effect of, Mr. and Mrs. Homeowner, you're under no obligation to let ABC Roofing do your job unless or until it's approved by your insurance company. So essentially what they're saying is they're not going to give you an estimate up front. They want to see what the insurance company comes up with and meet them there, by the way, so they can be there with the adjuster to hopefully get the scope of work, get the report as soon as you do, so they can then use that as their price. So with the estimate, here in Texas, it's illegal to cover, waive, eat deductibles, whatever you want to call it. So the deductible is your copay, regardless of what they tell you. That's the law. Most of them don't do that anymore because it's illegal and you can get in trouble, but it could still happen. So what they're trying to do is get the scope of work, get the adjuster's worksheet, and have you sign off on letting them do the work, and boom, they go down the street, same thing to the next person, next, domino down the road. Lastly, what I want to talk about is when you do incur hail damage, your adjuster should not be the one who writes your scope of work. Yeah, he needs to look at it, he or she needs to look at it. They need to find out what damages, or if it's in fact damaged, I should say. But from there, you should have a contractor write your estimate and give it to you, preferably before the adjuster ever shows up. That way, if you've gotten a good contractor, he will go up there and look at the roof, the gutters, the pipes, vents, stacks, flashings, screens, garage door, HVAC, condenser fins, the stain on the fence, all of it. Because hail doesn't just hit the roof, it hits everything. In addition to that, once you do have an estimate, and if you've chosen a contractor, you can actually have that signed contract and give that to your adjuster. Boom. When you give that to your adjuster, you're putting them on notice, hey, this is the work we're going to be doing, and this is what we really need you to look at and agree that, yeah, these items, these scope of work things are what needs to be done. For me, for mine, for example, I'll write everything out, line item it. We use Xactimate, just like the insurance carriers do. So pricing is never an issue. It's always going to be a scope of work. And they do have several line items that they're trained and told not to include for whatever reason. I don't know. It's just the way the insurance companies train their adjusters now. They're told not to include certain things. I do include everything. If it's on the roof, it needs to be replaced, we include it in the claim. Boom. If they haven't included it, we ask them, why not? If there's something in my estimate that's not there, not legitimate, or not reasonable, and they call me out on it, and I look at it, I strike it immediately. If it's not correct, I take it off. So the only thing I ask from them is that they do the same thing in return for you. So those are the three top items that I would ask you to look out for. Normally I do these Facebook posts after the storm happens, but by that time it's usually too late. You've already got the guys knocking on the door, flooding the neighborhoods, and you get overwhelmed. So hopefully these tips will help you before the storm happens and be prepared. If you do need an estimate, call us, 817-265-7444. Thanks.